All right. So, I know a lot of people are sitting here saying, Papa Gut, what the heck are you doing? This video is a year old. Why are you talking about it? Well, while I was on my honeymoon with my now wife, the wonderful and beautiful Mama Gut, she was on Facebook. She likes to do Facebook stuff. She's a weirdo. She's old. Younger than me, but she's old. And they just posted, I guess, a clip of this video, like half of the video. I don't know why only half of it. Onto Facebook like a couple days ago. And I overheard it. On Metabook, sorry. Yeah, you're right. And I overheard it, and I was listening to it, and basically, it's the very creepy issue surrounding Millie Bobby Brown. Now, I didn't watch the whole thing. I watched a bit of it, and so, like, my opinion can form and change while we watch this. But what I heard made me a little uncomfortable. The fundamental thing here is that he has an issue with, like, the way Millie Bobby Brown dresses, etc., in a way. And I understand where he's coming from, but I'm gonna play the video. You'll see my issue with the video, and we'll all have a good laugh, and we'll all have lots of fun. Because at the very least, this guy always has very well-structured videos. Very well-spoken, very intelligent young man.
I mean, this
is so weird. I'm fucking getting old. I'm getting to the age where I'm like, yes, a very intelligent young man. Oh. Dude, I can't even believe those words came out of my mouth. This shit's cringe. How old is this dude? Yeah, he's 23. He's a young man.
talented, but the way he's feeding into these disturbing conversations about Millie by... I mean, he's talented, but the way he's feeding into these disturbing conversations about Millie by purposely making her look at least 10 years older than she is, trash.
Yeah, I get what he's saying. Okay.
Hi, welcome back to me talking about whatever I want. Today I want to talk about Millie Bobby Brown and this really creepy situation surrounding her on the internet that I don't see too many people talking about. But first, of course, I want to give a quick comment shout out from my last video. This comment from Honey says, I'm convinced D'Angelo is an alien trying to understand humanity and we are all failing him.
Racially motivated. Fucked up.
On behalf of the human race, I'm so sorry. Honestly, this person might have just predicted the future, because if this video isn't an indication that the human race failed a long time ago,
Yo, maybe he is a fucking alien. Look at the mirror. There's nothing in his room, bro. This is what the fuck? Sitting in an empty room. What the fuck? Not even a poster on the wall. There's a plant. Maybe he eats plants. I don't know.
Might have just predicted the future, because if this video isn't an indication that the human race failed a long time ago, I don't know what is. So for those of you who don't know, Millie Bobby Brown is a 15-year-old actress, and she is most popular for her role as 11 in Netflix's hugely successful Stranger Things. I feel like
first season was pretty good. I wasn't a big fan of the rest of them. I felt like it was a one-off series that they made more seasons of to keep it going. I get it, but just my opinion.
Most people have heard of Millie Bobby Brown, or at the very least seen her, especially back when Stranger Things was first premiering. Well, because she's a huge celebrity, there's a lot of discourse about, you know, what kind of person she is, the kinds of things she wears, this, that, the other. And to
I mean, that's there's over speculation. If anything, is like an issue with the I guess the paparazzi type of a thing.
To a certain extent, this
you're one to talk about no wall decorations. Fuck up, okay? Look at the decoration. There's a air conditioner and some stuffed animals in the back. What else do you want? I have a whole wall. I have a whole thing here full of Funko Pops. You don't see it though. It's exclusive on my OnlyFans. I'm just kidding. I don't know. Let's keep going.
Conversation is pretty normal, pretty standard stuff. But recently, some really, really disturbing conversations have been popping up surrounding Millie Bobby Brown and the kinds of things that she does on the internet. Now, I just want to give a quick disclaimer. This video is...
I hope it's not OnlyFans.
Not criticizing Millie Bobby Brown at all. First of all, as I said, she's 15 years old, but even more than that, she doesn't really choose how she dresses. Because she's a celebrity, there's a stylist behind her, there's a team, there's people with money trying to brand her a certain way and
that's true. Yeah, I guess so. But she still kind of gets to choose. But
give her a certain look. So there's really nothing I have to say about Millie Bobby Brown specifically, other than that.
Like, I mean, people might help her make decisions and might make decisions for her, but I would imagine she's like, yeah, I like this, or no, I don't like this. Like, I think it's unreasonable to say that she has absolutely no control over what she wears in any capacity.
Pretty good job on Stranger Things. So this conversation reached its peak when she wore this dress to the Screen Actors Guild Awards. So as you can see from these pictures, it's this white Louis Vuitton dress. And by the way, this is a custom Louis Vuitton dress, which I think is important to point out. She didn't just pick this up off the shelf. Her stylist had this created specifically for her.
So that's not really that important to point out. And the only so the way that you have to understand that everything everybody wears to these events as celebrities are always going to be custom made. They probably found like a base dress or a base outfit, base attire, and they said, okay, we're going to fit them specifically a Millie Bobby Brown. Like these celebrities aren't going to like J.C. Penney's or Sears and going like, oh, that looks nice. These people, I think my understanding is like some of these events, they don't even pay the person who makes the dress. The person makes the dress specifically tailored to them, and they're trying to use it as a way to promote their brand or whatever. But I know what he's trying to say. He's like, look, somebody went out of their way to make her look exactly like this, and he's trying to load it a lot. I don't think that's a reasonable criticism, only because this is completely normal in this atmosphere to specifically tailor every piece of attire to that person's body.
The dress features this plunging neckline. There's a whole lot of this visible. And as you can see from this closer look I'm going to insert, these people applied her makeup so heavily. They basically dressed her the same way you would dress an actress who's like 24. But of course, Millie Bobby Brown hasn't even turned 16 yet. Now, as for my personal opinion on the dress and the look and all that, I thought it was weird. It was to the point where I didn't think it was Millie Bobby Brown. The picture popped up and it said Millie Bobby Brown, and I was like, I don't think so. I mean, once I looked at it, I can obviously see that it's her, but they are working so hard to make this girl look so much older than she is. And
okay, so we've basically ascertained what his issue with the dress is that it makes her look older, and there's some level of his expression is that there's a problem with making young people look older, right? Now, first and foremost, I think that generally speaking, we have to talk about the new age conversation about like what was she wearing? And I think there's a conversation to have about that because we generally shouldn't be focusing on what people are wearing when it comes down to really anything outside of some potential safety conversation, right? So obviously, I don't think that children should be dressed sexually because you're dressing away. When you dress, you're trying to express a particular message to society. I don't think it's appropriate for 15-year-old girls to dress sexually. So I would generally say, hey, don't dress a 15-year-old sexually, right? Once you hit 18, it doesn't really matter. For the most part, you're allowed to wear what you want to wear. The what was she wearing narrative gets very heavily tied into this when it talks about policing people's, what they're wearing. I think that there obviously are instances where you can police them when it comes to levels of respect. It wouldn't be particularly appropriate if I went to a funeral in a fucking thong and a Speedo or something like that, right? We would consider that disrespectful. So usually you'll only police when it comes to a level of respect or like some kind of a safety thing. Especially, and with young people especially. So we wouldn't want her to dress sexually. I don't read this as a sexualized dress. You could see some cleavage out, but it doesn't read to me as sexualized. This isn't sexy to me. To me, this is sophisticated. Now, this gets into a conversation because his fundamental issue seems to be with the fact that she looks older than she is. However, I'm not getting the read that she's dressed older for sexual attention from men. It looks like she's dressed in like a version of a pantsuit that my mom would wear. But my mom doesn't get tailored clothing because she's not rich, right? Which gets into another conversation of like, what are the implications of her actions? Now, one of the things that I find a little bit disconnected, and this is something that I don't think that dangelowallace understands, is young people like to pretend they're older. They like to dress older. They like to be more mature. Fundamentally, when it's a compliment for somebody to come up to you and say like, oh, you look mature for your age. Right? Like when I was at family parties and I was younger, people would be like, oh, you look older for your age. You look more mature. That's a good thing to you. Now, that can be used as a way to potentially groom somebody, of course, right? Like especially an older person be like, oh, you look so good for your age. You're so mature. Like, oh, like we could, trying to develop a situation. Yes, that type of rhetoric can be used in a way to predatorize young people. But generally speaking, it's a compliment. So young people like to be seen as older. We've all gone through that phase in our life. We've all gone through that struggle. We've wanted to be seen as more mature. A lot of times we're acting more mature as young people. And then that's basically how life works. You're told to act a particular way, and then you try to act that way, and then eventually becomes part of your personality, right? So you try to act more mature. You may not understand why you're acting more mature, but you like to be seen as more mature because it means that you're generally, we would be seen as more of an adult, which means you'd have better decision-making skills, et cetera, et cetera. But that's general. Everybody gets that. When you're acting immature, your parents hit you with a spoon, right? I'm assuming that everybody had that. Just kidding. It was a phone. Anyway, no, but when you want to be seen as more mature, there's nothing wrong with a young person dressing in a more sophisticated, mature way. There really is no issue. The issue would be sexualization. And I feel like there's a bit of a disconnect in understanding that people want to be perceived as more mature. This doesn't read as bad to me. She looks like She looks like she's dressed more sophisticated. Now, she doesn't look 26 to me. She still looks like a kid that's dressed more mature. But I don't see an inherent problem with this. Looks like AOC. Okay. Yeah, I guess so. What kind of? Okay. So yeah, I don't really see the criticism specifically with this dress. I think that it's like a lack of understanding of the way kids want to be perceived in the world. But okay.
Insert, these people applied her makeup so heavily. They basically dressed.
Is it that heavy? I mean, I'm not a makeup person.
And as you can see from this closer look I'm going to insert, these people
I mean, she has makeup on, but it doesn't seem particularly heavy. It seems like they're doing what makeup does, frame her face for a particular look.
Applied her makeup so heavily. They basically dressed her the same way you would dress an actress who's like 24. But of course, Millie Bobby Brown hasn't even turned 16 yet. Now, as for my personal opinion on the dress and the look and all that, I thought it was weird. It was to the point where I didn't think it was Millie Bobby Brown. The picture popped up and it said Millie Bobby Brown, and I was like, I don't think so. I mean, once I looked at it, I can obviously see that it's her, but they are working so hard to make this girl look so much older than she is.
Just trying to make her look more like sophisticated, more mature. Sure. I don't think that there are like older people going like, I'm gonna fuck that now. You know what I'm saying? Like that's not the read. There's people going like, oh, she looks nice. That's what when I first saw it. Oh, she looks nice. And I moved on. That's my day.
And it really makes me question what the intentions are behind wanting a 15-year-old to look like an adult. Now,
because 15-year-olds want to be perceived as more... Younger people want to be perceived as more mature. That's it. There's really no deep read into this.
As for whether she's allowed to wear the dress, that's really not for me to decide. I mean...
Yes, she is. It's for us to decide, yes, she is allowed.
First of all, I'm not even rich enough to afford a Louis Vuitton custom dress, let alone a personal stylist. I mean, she didn't show up to the awards in a bikini, thankfully, but I can't pretend...
Yeah, that would have been a problem.
And, like, this design wasn't purposely created to accentuate certain features. That is specifically what the point of a plunging neckline is, to draw attention to this area. And personally, I think drawing attention to that area on a 15-year-old is the worst thing I've ever heard in my entire life. But again,
I mean, I think that's a reasonable criticism. I just think that when you specifically hone in on the plunging neckline, like, yeah, you can draw that conclusion. But when you take the entire dress in, when you take the entire dress in, it doesn't really accentuate her breasts. You know what I'm saying? Like when you take one piece of the puzzle and you're like, oh, look at that. This by itself looks kind of bad. But you take the whole thing in and she just looks nice. Like, look at that. Like, she just looks kind of nice. It might be, I mean, I wouldn't say it's inappropriate. Maybe it's slightly inappropriate, but even if it is, it's not this intentional over-sexualization. I mean, so like, there's no accentuation of her, of her figure at all. Like, she has like a fucking pants on, and then basically this looks like when my wife wraps, you know how you tie off like a sweatshirt around your waist, but my sweatshirt, because it's all the way to the floor. You know what I'm saying? This isn't a particularly sexy look. It's sophisticated. I don't read this as sexualized.
Custom dress, let alone a personal stylist. I mean, she didn't show up to the awards in a bikini, thankfully, but I can't certain features. That is specifically what the point of a plunging neckline is, to draw attention to this area. And personally, I think drawing attention to that area on a...
She looks like she's comfortable, low-key elevated but comfortable. Maybe that is what it is.
15-year-old is the worst thing I've ever heard in my entire life. But again...
Wait, what?
I think that is specifically what the point of a plunging neckline is, to draw attention to this area. And personally, I think drawing attention to that area on a 15-year-old is the worst thing I've ever heard in my entire life. But again, that is not a reflection on Millie Bobby Brown, because she did not create this dress. And ultimately, if she did and she wanted to wear it, that's really on her. But no, she looked 30, okay? Like, I do not know why they did her makeup like that. It makes me feel bad for her, because I can tell what they're trying to do. They're trying to give her this mature, older look. But yeah, all it's doing is making her look strange. And
well, she is on a popular show called Stranger Things. So maybe she just wanted people to see like, oh, that's a Stranger Thing over there. Huh? It's a good dad joke. I'm getting ready for kids.
A little bit scary, mostly because I think it's upsetting to the average person to see someone who you know is 15.
I don't think anybody was really upset by this.
And register them as seeming like they're 30 years old. So because of...
Listen, I'm just going to say, like, I don't think that this is... He's entitled to his perspective. I understand where he's coming from. I don't think that he is the general perspective of the population, like of the average person. I would say that you would usually look at that. I'm just saying, most people, average person will just look at that and go, she looks nice, and stop fucking caring. I would say probably generally I'm a better representation of the average person. average person. I know we're a lot of different people. I'm just saying, I feel like that's like not true. People aren't really giving. Nobody fucking cares about what this woman's wearing or this young girl. Sorry, I called her a woman because she's dressed very sophisticated. So sorry, guys.
This, and of course, sparked some controversy online. I'm only going to read these 2 tweets from it. This person said, Millie Bobby Brown's stylist should be sacked. She's just 15 years old, but looked at least 30 at the Screen Actors Guild Award last night. So disturbing.
This is, dude, this is, I hate this. I hate it. I don't like that Twitter and like TikTok. I'm just going to say it. Twitter and TikTok, the morality of these platforms are run by the perspectives of young people and children. And I'm not trying to be rude. I'm really not. And I'm not trying to say that because I'm older and I have more life experience because I'm better than anybody. But I'm older and I have more life experience. So I think I have a different perspective on the world. Nobody fucking cares about this in the way where like nobody thinks that she's getting predatorized. It's a lot of young people who feel that they're young, intelligent people who look at something and they're uncomfortable and they express it, which is always great, but they don't really get pushback in any meaningful sense. And we also have the internet allows different people, outliers in every community to have a platform, right? So like, let's say in every state, there's only 100 people who like Papa God, but there's 50, is there 51 states, bro? There's 50 states, right? Puerto Rico's not a state. I'm getting old. So now you got, what, 5,000 people like Papa Gut, and they can all come to my stream and watch me and donate. Now my perspective is elevated, even though it probably shouldn't be, right? That's how YouTube works. Who the fuck am I, right? That's kind of what happens. And you have a lot of young people saying things, and like older people are just reinforced, but yeah, that's true. They don't really care. And they kind of like ride that moral wave because it's run by younger people. There's a lot of, there's a very overly represented, over-representation, or a lot of representation from young people on the internet. They have a lot of like a voice. I think it's good that young people get a voice, but they're not really contested. And so we're taking these perspectives to be like, yes, this makes perfect sense. It has 3 million views. It has a very solid like ratio. 3 million people who I think that don't quite understand, like that aren't really super full of life experience, right? I'm just saying. And it feels like we allow, and this guy is very intelligent, but that doesn't necessarily mean that he has like life experience type intelligence to be able to be like, yeah, this is a common problem. There's not like, I'm not trying to be rude. It's just that most people are looking at them like, oh, she looks nice, she looks elegant, and they're moving on. Nobody's like, oh my God, like I don't think that there's a group of people that are like, wow, this is so hot. They're really, there's nobody, I don't think that's an accurate representation.
And this other one said, Millie Bobby Brown is 15 years old. Everyone who's responsible for this look needs to get fired. Now,
and they want her to get fired. They want them to get fired because
so disturbing. And this other one said, Millie Bobby Brown is 15.
Like, this is fireable. This woman looks like a fucking weird young Hillary Clinton, I guess. Now that's a reason to fire that person for making her look kind of like Hillary Clinton. How's that? Am I coming off like a weird conservative right now? Huh? You know what? When I went on my vacation, I drove past like a whole tent full of like "fuck Joe Biden" and like "let's go Brandon" signs. I was in a more conservative state on my vacation, and I was just like, "Wow, this is." And I saw cars that had like "let's go Brandon." And my understanding is "let's go Brandon." People were chanting "fuck Joe Biden" at a show or something, and they were like "let's go Brandon." It's so cringe, man. I was so cringe, but the food was great. That more Southern comfort food. Crazy.
15 years old. Everyone who's responsible for this look needs to get fired. Now, just so we're clear, I completely agree with these tweets for the sole reason that they are not attacking Millie Bobby Brown or the way she looks, which I think is good. These tweets were very...
No, you're quite literally attacking the way that she looks. You're attacking the way that she looks, and then you're blaming it on other people, which is fine, but that's what you're doing. Don't say you're not. You are.
Specific, and saying that the stylists and everyone behind her look needs to be addressed. And that is 100% my stance on it. As a 21-year-old man, I'm not going to sit on the internet and dictate what Millie Bobby Brown should or should not wear.
But you kind of are, though.
As a 15-year-old girl.
But you kind of are. I see, this is one of the things that I have a problem. Is that you're like, you know, I'm not attacking what she's wearing, but I am attacking, but you're attacking what she's wearing. Just be honest about it. It's a little bit weird when you're like, hey, I'm not going to touch you, and then you touch somebody like right on the nose. Like, I'm not going to touch you, boop. And you know what I mean? It's like, well, that's not true.
But I sure as heck am going to criticize the people who put her in that dress. So, you know, that was creepy enough, right? But no, of course, really. The internet can't leave well enough alone. As I was searching for discourse about this whole issue, I found this article from popdust.com. But this is where things get creepy. This popdust article is called Millie Bobby Brown is Allowed to Be Hot.
Okay. That seems like a weird article. Let's see what we got.
Now here's the thing, I don't want to take this article out of context. The reason they put hot in quotation marks like that is because this article is supposedly addressing this exchange between Paris Hilton and Evan Rachel Wood. So Millie Bobby Brown posted this picture of her in this
See, now I would say, if anything, that's yucky.
Exchange between Paris Hilton and Evan Rachel Wood. So Millie Bobby...
See, if anything, this to me reads as a bit sexualized. That reads to me as like a club outfit. That I find inappropriate. I would say like, yeah, this is inappropriate. I don't like that, but that's a different article of clothing. That's not, this conversation isn't like, that's gross. That's gross.
Brown posted this picture of her in this cheetah print dress, and the one and only Paris Hilton commented, "That's hot." To which the actress Evan Rachel Wood replied, "She's 15. Now, I kind of think this...
I mean, like, listen, Paris Hilton, that's her like catchphrase. That's hot. You guys remember that? That's hot. She thinks everything is hot. Like, that's kind of like her thing. I wouldn't say that she's necessarily calling her hot. It's more of like, that's nice. But either way, the dress is inappropriate. But that's a very irrelevant. It's irrelevant. It's over a different dress.
This is like a great issue because if you know Paris Hilton or you're familiar with her, you'll know that her catchphrase is, "That's hot." I was watching her do this cooking video and like she pulled a spoon out of the drawer and was like, "That's hot." So I don't personally believe that Paris Hilton meant that in a creepy way when she commented, "That's hot." However, it's still creepy because Millie Bobby Brown is literally 15 years old. Like, Paris, what were you thinking? So I don't...
Well, I mean, you just said what she was
thinking. Evan Rachel Wood was wrong for just reminding both Paris and the general viewer that Millie Bobby Brown is in fact 15 years old. Well,
she deleted the picture. I was looking into it.
This Pop Dust article is, you know, why am I calling it Pop Dust? This publication is just dust. That's what your website is. This dusty, musty article suggests that Millie Bobby Brown is allowed to be hot.
I'm just going to read the article really quick. I think it's relevant. We're going to zoom in because I'm old. The world has watched Millie Bobby Brown, star of the hit Netflix show Stranger Things, transition from a prepubescent child with a shaved head to a young woman with 30 million followers on Instagram. A little weird, but framing, okay. There's no denying Brown's talent as an actress or her ability to remain composed and seeming... Who's wrote this article? It's a girl. I think that's relevant. The reason I think I think it makes sense that a woman is writing it because different people are gonna have a different interpretation of this. For her, she's probably gonna fundamentally have an interpretation of like, oh, let people dress how they want. Like, she's a young girl, she's allowed to express herself, kind of thing. I don't have to agree with it, but if it was a guy, I would think it's fucking weird. Let's see. Delighting fans with her effervescence and relatable, wholesome youthfulness, all while managing to avoid all kinds of scandals that so often invade the lives of adorable stars. She has always come across as just a normal young teenager, posting pouty selfies and silly dancing videos to her social media, crushing on boys and delighting over cute new clothes. In an age of hypersexuality and teenagers getting plastic surgery, Millie Bobby Brown feels like a reminder of America's lost innocence. Okay. Perhaps this is why so many found Brown's recent red carpet look at the 26th Annual Screen Actors Award, Guild Awards, whatever, problematic. Brown wore a trouser and coat dressed outfit by Louis Vuitton, and many felt it was too revealing. Wow, she definitely looks a little bit shorter and chubbier in this one. You fucking crop your photos, dude. He said this one, they should be fucking... Who is this person? Let's see. Oh, she's a Democratic Socialist, of course. Fucking soul. Stupid conservative. That's terrible. I'm making a joke. Okay. Millie Bobby Brown has a 15-year-old girl. Everyone is responsible needs to get fired. I think that's incredibly extreme and exaggerated. I find it very interesting that these seem to be more progressive individuals that are having like a big issue with the way that she's dressed. I don't perceive it as sexualized at all. I don't understand. This isn't the first time Brown has come under fire for, because you assume that like people that are more progressive would be more about like, you know, your body, your choice kind of a thing. This needs to be undone. What the fuck? I highlighted. You know, I understand not wanting children to dress sexy, but I don't see this as sexy. I see it as like some mature and sophisticated. This, you know, I get what they're saying with this. I just don't see it as hot. In recent months, the change has begun to make itself known on Instagram account. Her posts have taken on a more sultry, even adult nature. For example, the post Brown shared on October 29th shows the actress in a satin leopard print mini dress. That I had a problem with. That one was sexualized. Looking defiantly at the camera. She looked fucking drunk, but okay. The camera with her mouth slightly open. The second photo in the post is a mirror selfie in which Brown pouts at the camera as the light falls flatteringly on her torso. To be clear, Brown looks lovely in both photos, and there is nothing wrong with a 15-year-old posting photos of themselves to boost their confidence. Controversy soon arose when Paris Hilton commented with her iconic catchphrase, "That's hot." Even Evan Rachel Woods, one of the stars of HBO's Westworld, replied to saying that she's 15. More debate arose in the comments, with some Instagram users agreeing with Wood and praising her for defending children against premature sexualization, while others defended Hilton, saying her comment was harmless, but others took a turn to shame Brown for the revealing nature of her outfit and praise Wood for saying something. Yeah, I mean, I didn't like the outfit. One commenter said, "My daughter's 15 and doesn't dress like this. Nor does she have friends who do. She tells me at the time that she doesn't want to go too fast, and I think that's a few." Okay. Others expressed that if Brown didn't want to be sexualized, she should dress differently. Ultimately, in the drink conversation, pitfalls, blah, 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 shame for. So, yeah. I think it's okay to shame people for sometimes. I don't think it's good for kids to dress sexy. It's gross. Or sexualized, rather. Women, even 15-year-olds, should be allowed to wear whatever they want. Blah, blah, blah. I don't think that's true. Without fear of backlash, slut-shaming, or unwanted sexualization. Yeah, I don't like this article. That said, Paris Hilton's comment was really unwarranted sexualization. Yeah, I mean, I'm not reading the rest of this. This is fucking insane. I just disagree with that. Like, you should be able to do, like, you shouldn't be dressed like the fucking leopard print shit. Is inappropriate. What I find interesting, though, here, this is something that I find very interesting. I guess it's a lot of attention. I don't know. It doesn't seem like there's a particular, like, it doesn't seem super popular. I guess maybe 12,000 likes. I guess there was a pretty large. Okay,
and that it shouldn't have been weird that Paris Hilton was saying Millie Bobby Brown's outfit was hot. So again, for full context,
I mean, if anybody else said it, it would be weird, but it was Paris Hilton, so I don't care.
I don't think this article is completely with bad intentions, because like this part right here says, to shame Millie Bobby Brown for dressing how she wants to dress, how many teenagers dress, is definitely the wrong route.
No, I disagree. Shame her for dressing too sexualized.
Women, even 15-year-olds, should be allowed to wear whatever they want without fear of backlash, shaming, or unwanted
disagree.
Objectification. So obviously I'm not going to disagree with that.
How can you not disagree with that? Like, I don't see how you could take this stance that this doesn't make, there's like absolutely no logical consistency. I don't see how you could say, hey, I don't think a 15-year-old should be wearing a V-neck or whatever because it's too sexy, but then being like, yeah, but I agree, nobody should slut shame for what people are wearing. I feel like you can't have that perspective. You can't. I interpret that dress as just sophisticated and non-sexualized, but I don't like the over-sexualization of like 15-year-old girls, right? So which is why the other one is inappropriate. That's logically consistent. What he's saying is, like, I think that one is too sexualized and or too mature for age, and it's inappropriate. He thinks it's inappropriate, but then doesn't think you should shame young people, anybody, for what they're wearing, young girls for what they're wearing. You can't have that perspective. It's literally irrelevant. It sounds like we're dancing around potential cancel culture. It just doesn't make sense. I disagree. You can absolutely have commentary on what people are wearing at appropriate times. Children specifically shouldn't be dressing sexualized. I don't think that grown women should be criticized for dressing more sexualized. That's your choice. That's your body. That's your choice. I agree with that. But when it comes to kids, I think that we have different rules and that apply to them. Of course, not like a hot take, right? Still weird. What the fuck? I feel like you can't have that perspective. It's not logically consistent with itself. It's just not.
I would hope that's common sense, but sadly it's not. And you know, if this is all the article was, I think it would be fine. You know, the thing about creepy people is like, they can't hide their creepiness, right? They might mask it behind intentions like, oh, well, I'm just standing up for Millie's right to wear whatever she wants without being shamed. But if they're creepy people, the creepiness is going to jump out in the other things that they're saying. And that is what's going on here. Listen to me read some of my favorite quotes from this dustbin article. The world has watched Millie Bobby Brown, star of the hit Netflix show Stranger Things, transition from a prepubescent child with a shaved head to a young woman with 30 million followers on Instagram.
It's a little weird, but okay.
Why are we using the word prepubescent? Let's not. In an
That's probably because she was prepubescent.
Age of hyper objectification and teenagers getting plastic surgery, Millie Bobby Brown feels like a reminder of America's lost innocence.
It's not that bad. No, but for real. So here's one of the things. And I talked to my gut about this before. We watched the D'Amelio show a while ago for like a little bit of content on our Mom and Papa Gut channel. And one of the things we like about Charlie is she's a kid that doesn't sexualize herself like a lot of the younger kids do on TikTok. And it's gross. She's a good role model for other girls. It's like a similar reason like why like JoJo Siwa is pretty nice too. I don't really give a shit about these people, but I can respect what they're putting out into the world and being decent role models, saying that you don't have to be over sexualize yourself in order for you to get likes and views and in order for you to be successful. That's a purely great. That's a good. Yes, that's reasonable. I think that's very reasonable. So people that's going like, "Hey, I like Millie Bobby Brown because she's not an over sexualized child." That's not a bad thing. A lot of people do like that about her. I don't know why that's somehow bleeds out as like inappropriate. I don't really understand the mentality here. It's all over the place.
Okay, first of all, she's not American, so I'm not sure what this is supposed to be. But secondly, this whole innocence angle is really creepy and putting Millie on this sort of weird pedestal that I don't think she's ever put herself on. But hold on, you didn't think those were the only creepy quotes, did you? No,
they weren't really creepy. The first one was a little weird.
It just gets worse and worse the more you scroll down. In recent months, a change has begun to make itself known on the actress's Instagram account. Her posts have taken on a more sultry, even adult nature. For example, the post Brown shared on October 29th shows the actress in a satin leopard print mini dress looking defiantly at the camera with her mouth slightly open. The second photo in the post is a mirror selfie in which she pouts at the camera as light falls flatteringly on her torso. Can't do this. Bro, just
those are just describing what the posts were. I mean, it's flavored language, I guess you'd call it, because they're writing. I don't understand. But it says that it doesn't read as they think she's Jesus, I'm talking too fast. It doesn't read as they're like, oh my god, this is so hot. This is just like a more I guess flavored representation of what she's dressed like.
Say she wore a dress and people started criticizing her for it, and no, we do not need these verbose descriptions of.
Well, okay, but also if you just said that she wore a dress and people are criticizing it for it, well, then why are they criticizing her? It makes it clear through her text that they're criticizing her for dressing overly sexualized. It doesn't need to be as colorful language, but like they're writing an article. I think that it's not a hot take. You're trying to have like a flared article. I mean, it's a little weird, I guess, but not really. They're just describing what she looks like and talking about how she's dressing more sexualized and how like she's taken a shift in the way that she expresses herself in society now that she's getting a little older. But it's still gross.
How the light was falling on this kid's torso. Now, here's where, in my opinion, this article gets absolutely inexcusable. They start playing this what if game. It's interesting to get.
Well, my question is like, what do you think about what she was dressed like? Really shit out of this video. What was your opinion on this specifically? That leopard shitty fucking club dress that she was wearing. I don't know if I got. Let's continue.
Is, you know, why am I calling it pop dust? This publication outfit was hot. So again, this article. The world has watched Millie Bobby Brown. A sultry, even photo. Do not need these. Absolutely inexcusable. They start playing this what if game. It's interesting to consider whether if Kylie Jenner had posted an identical picture at the age of 15 and Paris had commented that's hot, would anyone have raised an eyebrow? Was Evan Rachel Wood so defensive of Brown because of legitimate altruism, or because, like the rest of us, that's very telling by the way, this person says like the rest of us, in other words, like me, she wants our precious 11 to stay a sexless, innocent child in order to keep with our uncomplicated cultural view of her. Did people criticize her look for her sake or because it made them uncomfortable? Of course it made people uncomfortable.
So what she's saying there is, it seems like what she's saying is, how old is Kylie Jenner? Let me see something really quick. I just want to see something. What it sounds like she's saying, yeah, okay, they're like the same age. Sounds like what she's saying is that because Millie Bobby Brown has more of an air of innocence, would it be as controversial if somebody that didn't have this innocent outlook or innocent presentation of themselves, would it be seen as controversial if they sexualized themselves? Or is it because of basically she's saying just like she wants to maintain the innocent perspective of Millie Bobby Brown? Possibly. I think, honestly, I believe Evan Rachel Wood is a let's see. My understanding is that Evan Rachel Wood had a very negative experience with Marilyn Manson. I can't. What's wrong with me? Because Marilyn Manson is a disgusting human being. And so, and like I know this is gonna get very loaded. It's possible that Evan Rachel Wood, because she possibly has some kind of trauma, views a lot of interactions through the lens of that trauma in a way that's not necessarily reflective of the general perspective of society, right? It makes sense. People who are, they experience trauma like that will always do that. They'll always look through like that type of a lens. They'll look through a lens, and it doesn't even matter what the trauma is. It's going to change your outlook on life. So it makes sense that she would be very sensitive to potential predatory interactions. That's fair. I don't think that it's either of these things. I think that she's just very sensitive to that. And that's totally reasonable and valid. That doesn't necessarily mean that that's the interpretation of Paris Hilton, though. I think that Paris Hilton was just saying that's hot. So I don't think that either of them are really right here. I don't think that she's right, or rather she's not right at all.
Because of legitimate
yeah, she wants to like save her. Yeah, no, right. She's probably projecting herself onto her. I understand it.
Or because, like the rest of us, that's very telling, by the way. This person says, like the rest of us. In other words, like me, she wants our precious 11 to stay a sexless, innocent child in order to keep with our uncomplicated cultural view of her.
Yeah, it's the language is bizarre, but when you look at it through the lens that this person is using intentionally, like very colorful or very flavorful language in order to get her point across, like it doesn't, again, I don't think that she's trying to be like, oh, Millie Bobby Brown's like sexy or whatever, or she shouldn't be sexy, she's just an innocent kid. I think it's more of just like the language that's in, but maybe I'm wrong. It is a little weird, but I think that's more of a reflection on the way that society looks at her in an honest, like they look at her as an innocent child, and they don't want her to they don't want her sexless, innocent look to be tarnished. That's more of the societal view, or at least her interpretation of the societal view is, rather than like her personal perspective. And maybe you disagree with me, but
did people criticize her look for her sake or because it made them uncomfortable? Of course it made people uncomfortable. She looks 30, and she criticized her look for her sake or because it made them uncomfortable. Of course it made people uncomfortable. She looks 30, and she is not. And
it's not really that uncomfortable.
It's not her fault. It is because people are doing this to her. So yes, that makes me very...
Well, I just don't understand how you could criticize her for what she's wearing, but then also say that you shouldn't criticize people for what they're wearing. Like, you should be able to. It's just logically
uncomfortable. In the same way that it is absolutely inappropriate to objectify Brown, is it not also inappropriate and unfair to forcefully ignore her completely? So when I read...
Okay, so in the same way it is absolutely inappropriate to sexualize Millie Bobby Brown, which is true, is it not also inappropriate and unfair to forcefully ignore her sexuality completely? I don't really know. I mean, I'm not. I'd have to ask Mama God her interpretation of that. It's probably too sensitive a topic for that. I really wouldn't want to speculate on that.
Also inappropriate and unfair to forcefully ignore her,
because like at the end of the day, she's probably trying to express herself in a way that's too much for her age, and I think a lot of young people do that, and that's what I would interpret the sexualized like outfit that she wore, like whatever that thing was, the fucking like the club dress, I'm gonna call it. So like I think that this is one of those things where you have this is a woman's perspective, and women generally feel more comfortable talking about these than men. It's weird to have a conversation about a 15-year-old girl trying to express her sexuality, because it's fucking weird, and men talking about it is disgusting. But I imagine that like this is something that's somewhat common for really anybody, again, like they're trying to express themselves and just in general. I know that young people still do have particular urges that they want to express. I just think it's too soon for that. But I get what they're saying. She wants to express herself a little more, but she's going too far. That's how I would do it.
Completely. So when I read the absolute mental gymnastics that article was going through, I started to realize that this might have been a larger issue than I first anticipated. So in my searching for like the things people were saying about Millie Bobby Brown, I encountered this subreddit. Now here's the thing. It's not like this subreddit is like named secret hidden Millie Bobby Brown fan club. This subreddit is called r/Millie Bobby Brown 2. Like, it comes up if you type Millie Bobby Brown on Reddit. So this isn't like...
I fucking hate Reddit. It's super toxic.
Sort of...
It's a bunch of fucking losers. Just being honest.
Secret society. It is right there, and you're about to be really creeped out that something this creepy is this public. So basically, the Millie Bobby Brown 2 subreddit is just a bunch of pictures and videos of Millie Bobby Brown. People are taking them from her social media and reposting them to the Reddit. Now, right off the bat, I wouldn't say that this is creepy just because she's famous and people have always been, you know, infatuated with celebrities. But oh boy, I was able to very quickly piece together why the majority of the people on that subreddit were there just from looking at their comments. This person commented under one of the photos, "Gorgeous!" exclamation point. But, you know, it can...
I mean, yeah, it makes sense that there's pockets of the internet that are probably fucking pedophiles sexualizing kids.
Easily be said that this comment is just...
But they're probably going to say that about anything that she posts.
From a fangirl or a stan or some kid who wants to look like Millie Bobby Brown. That wouldn't be weird at all. However, I went to this person's profile on Reddit, and as you can see, they are in all not safe for work subreddits. Like, just...
Christ.
And as you can see, they are in all.
Fuck yeah. Would love to blast a thick load all over her face and her mouth. Natalie Portman's face seems like a nice place to unload. That was what they were saying. Her chest looks so nice here. Who was this? Massey Williams? Oh, that's weird. How old was this video? A year? How old is Massey Williams? That's fucking weird. Ew. The fuck? She's 24? That's surprising. I thought she was like a fucking kid. That's weird. And this was last year, so she'd be 23. Be 22. Ew. Sophie Turner and Massey Williams.
Not safe for work subreddits. Like
the photo shoot was the best. Missing these two together. Ticklish Adventures of Sabrina continues. She's ticklish. I would love to tickle her.
All kinds of inappropriate photos
so fuck.
of celebrities. That is what they use their Reddit account for. Every time you see that little red tag, that's a not safe for work marker. It's not even like this person engages on those subreddits every now and then. Their whole account was that. And they are also posting on the Millie Bobby Brown subreddit. Here we have this person that commented just the hard eyes emoji. And again, that by itself is not really creepy. However, I go to their profile. It's all...
Let's see. I like reading these. I don't know. R Pussy. Do you happen to have her name? Ooh. The fuck?
This emoji. And again, that by itself is not really creepy. However, I go to their profile. It's...
This to me just reads as there's a problem with fucking Reddit and pedophiles. Not that there's... not that what she's wearing there is a problem. You know what I'm saying?
All...
Per se. I feel like this is kind of an outlier. Like, there's going to be people who are going to find kids attractive regardless of what they're wearing. I think that these are those people. It doesn't matter what Millie Bobby Brown wears. I don't think that, like, especially this hot take, I don't think that pedophiles, which seems to be potentially what they are going to think that a young girl dressed older is sexy to them. They're probably going to be like, oh no, because I think that there's a level of attraction from more predatory individuals. To like be attracted to that young innocence. Like, it's not just about what they look like per se, but also like the mentality, what they're expressing. Or I guess, you know what I'm saying? And she's not just, she's dressed in a way that would promote mass or maturity. And that would probably be a turn off to predators. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm a little burnt out. It's a long day today.
All not safe for work. I'm just
trying to read these, bro.
Creepy. However, I go to their profile. It's all not safe for work. Just talking about various body parts and various celebrities. This person says, beautiful, hard eyes. Went to their account. They are only in
beautiful, hard eyes. Kick bud.
Not safe for work Reddit communities. And what I think makes it even creepier is that they put that same beautiful comment under an Emma Watson pic. And they put that same hard eyes emoji under a not safe for work image. So like they are commenting on Millie Bobby Brown subreddit the same way that they're commenting on all these not safe for work celebrity subreddits. This person says stunning. That by itself is not creepy. However, bam, it's all not safe for work.
I just don't understand what does all this part mean?
Work account. So this is legitimately the most upsetting conclusion I could have come to. I did not think that this was going on so publicly, but someone had to say
it's not. It's Reddit. People probably don't have anything to. I just don't understand. Like discussing Reddit, like pedophiles. Yeah, they exist. You can probably find it for anybody.
Something, because I don't see people talking about this. Someone should be talking about this. It gets worse though. Another thing that people...
I'm just talking about when it comes to tying into like what she was wearing originally, because the original we're on a loop at this point. We started with like what she was dressed as at the SAG Awards, Guild Award, whatever the fuck it's called. Then we moved on to the way that she's like starting to dress in like a club style, which I think is inappropriate. And now we're on to the Reddit that just generally is infatuated with Millie Bobby Brown. These are all kind of separate. The last thing that this current topic that we're talking about is very wholly irrelevant to the first two. There's always going to be disgusting individuals that talk about these, that like do shit like this. I don't think that that's that doesn't really contribute to the conversation we were originally having at all.
People post on the subreddit are videos.
Especially since he didn't show us that it was like, oh, it was that picture that they were like, oh, this is hot, you know?
Of Millie Bobby Brown dancing on TikTok or doing various exercises. So like as you can see right here, someone uploaded a video.
Yeah, see, they're sexualizing her gym attire now. You know what I'm saying? Like these are just gross, probably men.
Out. And I can see in the
maybe young boys, but I probably bet men.
Comments that someone used a tool to download this video. So I really want to know what you need a video of a 15-year-old working out downloaded to your hard drive for. And then that was just me like kind of digging. If I just look at it as a whole, you can still find creepy stuff right off the bat. This person commented, "Sweet Jesus," drool emoji, hard eyes emoji. Someone posted her Screen Actors Guild, commented, "Sweet Jesus," drool emoji, hard eyes emoji. Someone posted her Screen Actors Guild dress, and someone commented, "Too adult, uncomfortable." And then they got downvoted into
Oh, okay, there we go. Too adult, uncomfortable.
to the negatives.
Where did they post this in the Millie Bobby Brown thing? Uncomfortable how? Probably because she's a child in this outfit that articulates her breast, accentuates her
Interesting.
breast.
And someone followed up, probably because she's a child and this outfit accentuates her chest, which in my opinion is a perfectly valid reason to be uncomfortable. And then this person says, "I'm not complaining."
What a fucking asshole. You ever see that meme where the guy is like, he's like, "Oh, I'm not a child, you're a pedophile." And he's like, "You know how I do it, bro." That reminded me of that.
So yeah,
at least we finally
I found
tied
a
it in.
secret subreddit that's not so secret that is completely devoted to inappropriate context pictures of Millie Bobby Brown. Now, just to kind of wrap this up, and
I'm curious. Let's see. Reddit dive into it. I don't know what's gonna show up on my fucking page. I don't know how. I just fuck myself. Hold on. Millie Bobby Brown 2. Let's see what we got here. Am I gonna see anything inappropriate here? This is a little weird. Stranger Things screening. Be comment. Okay. Yeah, nobody really. There's no comments. Okay. Some stuff days ago. There's not a lot of comments on here in general. This is. You see who owns subreddits? Created in 2018. Restricted. What does this mean? People can post. Okay, so the fact that it's restricted so that only some people can post suggests to me that there was probably a problem of pedophiles in being in this subreddit, and they wanted to change that, so they drastically limited the ability to comment. Because I think that if it seems like the intention here is, for the most part, to just be like, "I like Millie Bobby Brown, I'm a fan," and then people would do gross things and like weaponize it, like, for sure that makes sense. And then they're trying to police it. I just think that like the general thing is that they're trying to speak down on the Reddit, when I think that it's more like, I guess, more accurate to speak down on the particular yucky users. Does that make sense? Yeah, they're disabled. I'm just trying to go back to where the other shit was. Happy Valentine's Day. Or International Women's Day. Who cares? Women stink, bro. Fuck you. Alright. Did we get down to it? Did I just name myself? Most of these are just like whatever, dude. She just seems like she likes to dress in a lot of different ways. You know what's like interesting? Because I'm reading through, these are from like a year ago, so that's about the time this video came out. I find it very interesting because she has a lot of different styles that she seems to be experimenting with, and it's one. And I'm going to talk about it because when I talk about gender lately, I talk about young people identifying as like non-binary and stuff as like I don't like that. Well, it's not something that I don't like it. It's more that like I think it's really good for people to explore themselves, like their gender and stuff. And so like I guess my argument's like, don't identify as like anything necessarily. I guess non-binary is kind of that. So no, but like my point is like, let kids explore with themselves and stuff. And so you have like young kids, like they're identified like, oh, I don't know what my gender is. Like they're exploring it. I guess that's like the specific prescription of like, I'm non-binary. And for me, it's more like, why don't you just explore that concept before you make your decision? And I fundamentally think that we kind of stopped letting people explore. Obviously, I don't think that you should wear sexualized outfits, but she seems to just be wearing different things to express herself and explore the way that she feels and like what her style is. What the fuck? Well, like, what the fuck? Those are nipples? Ew, what the fuck? What are the comments on here? Oh, they're all disabled. They really fucking heavily cut this shit down. That's very interesting. I guess that would be my criticism. Why the fuck didn't you see your nipples? Or did somebody Photoshop that? I wonder, because I didn't see your nipples in any other video. Or picture, rather. Yeah, I mean, this just looks like a appreciation page that just likes to post their stuff for the most part.
Kind of reinforce the fact that this is not a criticism of Millie herself. I am going to call out the person responsible for most of this. That person is named Thomas Carter Phillips. Now, Thomas Phillips is a celebrity stylist, but from looking at his website, I can see that the most high-profile client he has right now is Millie Bobby Brown. So many of these pictures are of her looking way older than her age. Like, look at this glamour picture right here. Look at
this is what I'm talking about, man. It's kind of shitty with this heavy speculation on what she's wearing, because she looks like she's just trying to explore herself and figure out what her style is. That's what young people do. Young people explore how they want to be when they're older. Yeah, it's literally just her face with some makeup on it. I feel like if under any like pressing on this, it's like, oh, do you think young girls shouldn't wear makeup? And he's probably like, no, I think it's fine. So it's like, what's your criticism here? Well, they look older. How should they look? Like, I don't understand. Again, when you're in that development, when you're in that phase, especially in like when you're like a young, like when you're like 14 to 18, I guess you're really trying to explore the person you want to be when you become an adult. So you want to dress like an adult. You want to try out different styles. I don't think sexualization is appropriate, but this is just her fucking. Like, it's an incredible reach to try to suggest that this is somehow inappropriate for her. For fucking what? You only see half of her face. I don't understand. And she's probably loving this. She's probably so happy that she gets to, like, explore the different aspects of herself.
Look at the way he does her makeup to make her look like an adult. Look at this.
What?
Lacy get up in this makeup he has her in right here with this red off-the-shoulder sweater thing.
What the fuck? What's happening here? How is this inappropriate?
Like, every time he gets his hands on her wardrobe, she comes out looking like an adult and not a
She looks, I guess, more mature. I'm fucking confused.
child. He does her makeup so heavily.
I don't even see makeup here. This looks like a light makeup. I'm so bro, this is confused, bro. This is confusing the shit out of me. She's probably like, oh, I want to try out this. That's crazy. She's probably like, oh, I want to try out this kind of look. And he's like, yeah, let me help you out with that. This is fucking bizarre.
And he chooses outfits that look like something a 24-year-old would wear.
I'm just confused.
Look at Millie Bobby Brown, how she looks in Stranger Things, versus how she looks when Thomas Carter Phillips is involved. Now, look at Millie Bobby.
Okay. This is like an older style attire from like, what, the 70s or something? She looks like she's dressing for the period piece that she's working in, right? Stranger Things takes place in like the 70s or some shit like that.
Bobby Brown, how she looks in Stranger Things versus how she looks when Tom.
Bro, this is so weird. Look at this. There's no this is it. This is the point. This is the point. The accentuation of the cleavage isn't a factor to him. He's uncomfortable. So this is the problem with this video. He's made this idea that like, hey, listen, I have a particular narrative, and that is that I'm uncomfortable with the way she looks, so now I'm going to look for information that makes that accentuates my point, rather than taking everything in. One of his biggest issues is that she's wearing a V-neck. She's not wearing that at all here. So what's the problem? Oh, it's the makeup. Well, what the fuck? What should she look like? Should she look like
24-year-old would wear? Look at Millie Bob.
This? What is this? What is this? This looks like it's from like season 1 or 2. Honestly, I think it's from season 2. Right, so she's when was this really? I don't know, it's just weird. This is from 2016. So this is 4 years before, or maybe 3 or 4 years. So she's like 12 here. So he wants her to dress 12 forever? She's like 15 at this point. There is a big difference between like 12 and 15. Absolutely. There's a bigger difference between 12 and 15 than there is between like 23 and 26. Like, that's when you're really maturing your style. You're hitting puberty. You're having a lot of experiences and emotions, and you're trying to express yourself, and you're trying to experiment with yourself, and you're trying different things. Should she dress as if she was fucking, what, 12 years old? It doesn't make sense. I'm so confused. You're telling this girl she can't express herself at all. Like, you're literally policing her outfit more than anyone else. And then you're like, but I don't think you should tell 15-year-olds what they should wear. But dog, you're dogging on this girl for wearing clothing that she probably loves wearing.
Bobby Brown, how she looks in Stranger Things versus how she looks when Thomas Carter Phillips is involved.
Who gives a fuck? She probably loves this. She's probably, honestly, like, if I, like, when you're younger, imagine having somebody that, like, personalize this. You're a 15-year-old anybody, and you have a lot of money, and you have somebody that you can be like, I want to look like this, and they can make it happen, tailoring it specifically to you. Specifically to you. You just, you know what I'm saying? I don't think that people would be shitting themselves. These are pretty tasteful outfits. I look at some of these things like, this is a little weird. It's a little short, I guess. It's a little weird. But I don't read this as sexual. Again, you know what I'm saying? You have mothers in the chat that are like, I wish my teen dressed this proper. Yeah, that's also a problem. Fucking kids are dressing like shit nowadays. It's terrible. I just feel like this is like a very, like, super, like, preachy, like, really, honestly, like, almost like very regressive take about the way that young women should dress. As long as it's not sexualized, there's no real issue. She looks like she's dressing more mature. Okay.
Now, I don't think any of the outfits Millie Bobby Brown has worn have been particularly devious. It's not like,
then what are you talking about?
She's dressing like Miley Cyrus used to, but everything is controlled. So this whole disturbing conversation she has surrounding her and the way she dresses and how
there wasn't a really big conversation.
How objectified she is. That is controlled. They are purposely making her look older, and they are feeding into that conversation. They are making no effort to
You're feeding into it.
Dispel this sort of thing, and that is my main issue with all of this. So yeah, the article, trash. That subreddit, trash. Thomas Carter Phillips, I mean, he's talented, but the way he's feeding into these disturbing conversations about Millie by purposely making her look at least 10 years older than she is, trash. And you know, this is such a deep-rooted issue that I'm not going to make a difference just by making this one video.
I don't think it's a deep-rooted issue. I think that you're actually promoting a deep-rooted issue of over-policing what people did. I think that this video is incredibly problematic, specifically for, one, trying to make this assertion that young people dressing more maturely is somehow a negative in society, and two, heavily policing the way that a young person wants to express themselves as long as it's not dangerous. Like I said, I think it's dangerous to dress overly sexual. But outside of that, young people are supposed to be trying to experiment and express themselves in different ways, whether it's the way that they're dressing or the way that they identify gender-wise or their sexuality, as long as it's between other people of their same age. Like, these are things that I did when I was younger. I would contemplate my sexuality when I was younger, but I felt like from a societal perspective that I really couldn't do that. I felt like it was bad if I was gay. You know, I remember having a family member, and I love my family, but they had mentioned to me, like, there was a time where I thought I was bisexual. But they were like, you can't be bisexual. You're either gay or straight. And that fucked me up. And so maybe I'm being a little too personal with this, but like, I feel like the really heavy judgment on these young people for safely expressing themselves in different ways, one of which is just through the way that they dress, I think is fucking ridiculous. Because when I was younger too, I grew my hair out. I grew like a beard. I would dress like the way I wanted to express myself. That's all she's doing. She just has resources to do it in a different way. And I feel like this is very regressive, and it's having potentially a profoundly negative impact on other young girls who watch that are like expressing themselves, because you're really heavily policing these young people, and you need to explore yourself when you're young, man. I just don't like it. It makes me very uncomfortable, and it's weird that it's like wrapped in this like new age social narrative. It feels like he's trying to be like, yeah, like I'm all progressive, like I think young girls should dress how they want, but also fuck that. It's like, what the fuck, man? I know maybe I'm personalizing too much, but it's too much. It feels like this is a very toxic conversation that he's trying to have. It's ridiculous. There's going to be outlier individuals that are going to do weird shit in general. Some of those people on that subreddit were fucking creepy, but the subreddit itself basically blocked those people from posting. I find it bizarre, though, that people watched this video and they listened to him literally engage in like cognitive dissonance, line by line, where he'd say, I don't think that we should be policing what young girls are wearing. And then the next sentence say, but, and then go completely back on it. It blows my mind that people are like, they don't go like, yeah, man, you know that none of what you're saying makes any fucking sense. Like, it's not logically consistent, right? Like, the things you're saying make sense individually, but together you're completely logically inconsistent, and it's insane. I just feel like it's a very regressive take. I also feel like it's bizarre, and I wanted Mama Gut to do this, but she didn't really. She originally wanted to talk about it, but then when we got back into commentary, she's like, I don't know if I want to talk about this. I think it's also like, I don't know. I wish she would have, though, because I think a woman's perspective would have been better on this. I think it's weird when like a bunch of guys are sitting here talking about the way that a young girl's dressing, because we're obviously missing massive representation from of the experiences of young women on this scenario. So
about it, it's not going to dry up overnight, but it's definitely not going to start changing unless people do start talking about it. So
yeah,
even if this video doesn't work,
that's true too.
Ultimately, who cares?
Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm not a big fan of that. I think that he's a very smart guy, but it feels like when did I watch this video? Whatever. But there feels like there's a little bit of a lack of life experience to drive his intelligence. Because he's smart. He's a smart guy. But I feel like without that... And I haven't looked at any of his more recent stuff. But yeah, man. Just saying. Just don't think that that's a good... I don't like the perspective. Yeah, the Drake shit with Millie Bobby Brown is fucking weird, bro.